You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. These words, spoken by Marcus Aurelius nearly 2,000 years ago, still ring true today. In a world filled with distractions, temptations, and endless demands on our time, self-discipline often feels like an elusive goal. But what if the key to mastering it isn't about sheer willpower or forcing yourself to stay on track? What if it's about shifting your mindset and embracing timeless principles that have guided some of history's most disciplined minds? That's exactly what Stoicism offers: a practical, no-nonsense philosophy for building unshakable self-discipline. In this video, we'll explore 15 Stoic rules that can transform the way you approach challenges, resist distractions, and take control of your life. Whether you're struggling to stay focused, overcome procrastination, or simply want to live with more intention, these principles will give you the tools you need to thrive. So, are you ready to discover how ancient wisdom can help you master the art of self-discipline in the modern world? Let's begin. The first rule of Stoic self-discipline is knowing where to direct your energy. At the heart of Stoicism lies a simple yet profound idea: the dichotomy of control. This principle teaches us that some things are within our power while others are not. As Epictetus famously said, some things are within our power while others are not. Understanding this distinction is the foundation of self-discipline. When we focus on what we can control, our thoughts, actions, and responses, we free ourselves from the frustration of trying to change what we cannot. This shift in perspective doesn't just reduce stress, it builds resilience, helping us navigate life's challenges with clarity and purpose. Think about a stressful workday. You can't control the deadlines your boss sets, the traffic on your commute, or the mood of your coworkers. But you can control how you prepare for the day, how you respond to setbacks, and how you manage your time and energy. By directing your focus inward, you reclaim power over your experience. This isn't about ignoring external problems. It's about recognizing where your influence truly lies. When you stop wasting energy on things outside your control, you create space to act intentionally and effectively. So take a moment to reflect. What areas of your life are you trying to control that are beyond your power? Are you stressing over outcomes you can't change, or are you channeling your energy into actions that truly matter? The Stoics remind us that self-discipline starts with this awareness. By focusing on what's within your control, you not only reduce unnecessary frustration, but also cultivate a sense of inner strength that carries you through even the most chaotic moments. This is the first step toward mastering the art of self-discipline, and it's a step anyone can take starting today. When was the last time you willingly stepped out of your comfort zone? It's not an easy question to answer, is it? Most of us instinctively avoid discomfort, seeking ease and convenience at every turn. But here's the paradox: true self-discipline isn't built in comfort. It's forged in the moments when we choose to embrace difficulty. This is the essence of the second Stoic rule: practice voluntary discomfort. The Stoics believed that by intentionally exposing ourselves to challenges, we train our minds to handle adversity with grace and resilience. As Seneca once said, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. In other words, just as physical exercise builds muscle, mental challenges build discipline. Think about the Stoic exercises that were common in ancient times. Fasting, for example, wasn't just about physical health. It was a way to practice self-control and remind oneself of the impermanence of comfort. Cold showers, enduring harsh weather, or even sleeping on the floor were all methods to cultivate mental toughness. These practices weren't about punishing the body, they were about strengthening the mind. By willingly stepping into discomfort, the Stoics learned to detach from external comforts and focus on what truly mattered: their inner strength and character. Take Cato the Younger, a Roman statesman and Stoic philosopher, as an example. He was known for his rigorous self-discipline, often wearing simple clothing and walking barefoot in the snow to harden his resolve. These acts weren't for show, they were deliberate exercises in building resilience. Cato understood that by embracing discomfort, he could prepare himself for life's inevitable hardships. And isn't that what self-discipline is all about? It's not just about resisting temptation in the moment. It's about preparing yourself to face challenges with unwavering resolve. So how can you apply this principle in your own life? Start small. Maybe it's skipping that extra snack, taking a cold shower, or waking up an hour earlier than usual. The goal isn't to make yourself miserable, it's to remind yourself that you're capable of more than you think. By introducing voluntary discomfort into your routine, you'll begin to see challenges not as obstacles but as opportunities to grow. Here's a question to reflect on. What's one area of your life where you could introduce a little discomfort? It could be physical, mental, or even emotional. The key is to choose something that pushes you just outside your comfort zone. Remember, the Stoics didn't practice discomfort to prove their toughness. They did it to build the mental fortitude needed to live a life of purpose and integrity. And that's a lesson worth embracing, no matter where you are on your journey. How often do you find yourself lost in thoughts about the past or future? It's a common experience, isn't it? We replay old mistakes, worry about what's to come, or get caught up in endless to-do lists. But here's the thing. The Stoics understood that true self-discipline begins with mastering the present moment. This brings us to the third rule: cultivate presence through mindfulness. Marcus Aurelius, one of Stoicism's greatest practitioners, put it simply: confine yourself to the present. For the Stoics, mindfulness wasn't just a buzzword. It was a way of life, a tool for cutting through distractions and sharpening focus. At its core, mindfulness aligns perfectly with Stoic principles. It's about clarity, intentionality, and recognizing that the only moment we truly have control over is now. The past is gone and the future is uncertain. But the present, that's where your power lies. By grounding yourself in the here and now, you can make better decisions, resist impulsive reactions, and approach challenges with a calm, focused mind. Think about it. How many times have you made a poor choice because you were distracted by regrets or anxieties? The Stoics believed that by staying present, we can avoid these pitfalls and act with purpose. So how do you cultivate this kind of presence? One powerful Stoic practice is journaling. Marcus Aurelius himself kept a journal, now known as Meditations, where he reflected on his thoughts, actions, and the lessons he learned each day. This wasn't just a diary, it was a way to anchor himself in the present, to process his experiences and clarify his intentions. Journaling helps you slow down, observe your thoughts, and bring awareness to the moment. It's a simple yet profound way to build mindfulness and strengthen your self-discipline. Another practice is meditation. While the Stoics didn't use the term as we do today, their exercises in focused attention and reflection share much in common with modern mindfulness techniques. For example, taking a few minutes each day to sit quietly, breathe deeply, and observe your thoughts without judgment can help you develop the mental clarity the Stoics valued so highly. It's not about emptying your mind or achieving some perfect state of calm. It's about training yourself to stay present even when distractions arise. Now let's bring this back to your life. What distractions pull you away from the present moment? Is it the constant ping of notifications, the weight of unfinished tasks, or the endless stream of thoughts about what might happen tomorrow? Once you identify these distractions, you can start addressing them. Maybe it's setting boundaries with your phone, creating a daily reflection routine, or simply taking a few deep breaths before responding to a stressful situation. The key is to recognize that every moment is an opportunity to practice presence, and in doing so, you strengthen your ability to stay disciplined and focused. The Stoics remind us that the present moment is all we truly have. By cultivating mindfulness, you not only reduce stress and improve focus, but also build the mental resilience needed to face life's challenges with clarity and purpose. So, the next time you feel pulled in a million directions, take a deep breath and ask yourself, where is my attention right now? The answer might just be the first step toward mastering the art of self-discipline. Every obstacle is a chance to practice self-discipline. That might sound counterintuitive, especially when life throws curveballs that feel overwhelming or unfair. But here's the Stoic perspective. Challenges aren't roadblocks, they're opportunities in disguise. This is the essence of the fourth rule: embrace obstacles as opportunities. Marcus Aurelius put it perfectly when he said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the very things that seem to hold us back can propel us forward if we approach them with the right mindset. The Stoics believed that obstacles are not just inevitable, they're essential. They force us to adapt, to think creatively, and to grow stronger. Think of it like this: a tree that grows in a windy environment develops deeper roots and a sturdier trunk. Similarly, when we face difficulties, we have the chance to build resilience and sharpen our problem-solving skills. It's not about pretending that challenges don't hurt or frustrate us. It's about recognizing that they can also teach us something valuable. Consider a modern-day example. Imagine someone who loses their job unexpectedly. At first, it feels like a devastating blow, a major setback, but what if they reframed it as an opportunity? Maybe it's a chance to explore a new career path, to learn new skills, or to reassess what truly matters to them. By shifting their perspective, they can transform what seems like a loss into a stepping stone for growth. This is the Stoic approach in action, taking what life gives you, no matter how difficult, and using it to move forward. So, how can you apply this principle in your own life? Start by reframing the way you think about obstacles. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What can I learn from this?" or "How can this make me stronger?" It's not about denying the difficulty of the situation, it's about finding the silver lining. Even small challenges like a missed deadline or a disagreement with a friend can become opportunities to practice patience, creativity, or empathy. Here's a question to reflect on. What's one obstacle you faced recently, and how did you respond? Did you see it as a setback, or did you find a way to grow from it? The Stoics remind us that every challenge is a test of our character and an invitation to rise to the occasion. By embracing obstacles as opportunities, you not only build self-discipline, but also develop the kind of resilience that helps you thrive, no matter what life throws your way. What is your why behind your daily actions? It's a simple question, but one that cuts to the heart of self-discipline. Without a clear purpose, even the most well-intentioned efforts can feel aimless or exhausting. This brings us to the fifth Stoic rule: define your purpose clearly. The Stoics believe that a well-defined purpose is the compass that guides disciplined actions, helping us stay focused and resilient in the face of distractions or setbacks. As Seneca wisely observed, if one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable. In other words, without a destination, even the best conditions won't get you where you want to go. Purpose is more than just a goal or a dream. It's the deeper reason behind what you do. It's what gives your actions meaning and aligns them with your values. For the Stoics, purpose was closely tied to their core virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. They believed that living with purpose meant striving to embody these virtues in every decision, no matter how small. This alignment between purpose and virtue creates a sense of inner harmony, making it easier to stay disciplined even when the path gets tough. So, how do you define your purpose? One practical way is to create a personal mission statement. This isn't about crafting a perfect, poetic phrase. It's about identifying what truly matters to you and using that as a guide for your actions. For example, your purpose might be to live with integrity, to contribute to your community, or to grow into the best version of yourself. Whatever it is, the key is to make it clear and actionable. A well-defined purpose acts like a filter, helping you prioritize what's important and let go of what's not. Think about the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who lived a life of simplicity and service despite facing immense challenges. His purpose wasn't tied to wealth, fame, or comfort. It was about living in accordance with nature and helping others do the same. This clarity of purpose gave him the strength to endure hardship and stay true to his principles, even when it would have been easier to give up. His life is a powerful reminder that purpose isn't just about what you achieve, it's about who you become in the process. Now take a moment to reflect. How does your current purpose align with your long-term goals? Are your daily actions moving you closer to the life you want to live, or are they pulling you in different directions? The Stoics remind us that self-discipline isn't just about sticking to a routine, it's about ensuring that routine serves a greater purpose. When you know your why, the how becomes much clearer and the challenges along the way feel more manageable. Defining your purpose isn't a one-time task, it's an ongoing practice. Life changes, and so do we. What mattered to you 5 years ago might not hold the same weight today, and that's okay. The key is to regularly check in with yourself, reassess your priorities, and adjust your actions accordingly. By staying connected to your purpose, you'll find that self-discipline becomes less about forcing yourself to stay on track and more about naturally aligning with what truly matters. And that's where real growth happens. Imagine resisting the urge to check your phone for an hour. It sounds simple, but for many of us, it's a real challenge. That's because our brains are wired to seek immediate rewards, whether it's a quick dopamine hit from a notification or the comfort of indulging in a craving. But here's the truth: self-discipline isn't about denying yourself pleasure forever. It's about choosing long-term fulfillment over short-term satisfaction. This brings us to the sixth Stoic rule: practice delayed gratification. At its core, this principle is about mastering your desires and aligning your actions with what truly matters. As Epictetus once said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. In other words, the less you're ruled by your cravings, the freer and more disciplined you become. The Stoics valued temperance and moderation above all else. They believed that by delaying gratification, we train ourselves to resist impulsive urges and focus on what's truly important. Think about it. Every time you choose to wait, whether it's skipping dessert, saving money instead of spending it, or resisting the temptation to procrastinate, you're strengthening your self-discipline muscle. It's not about punishing yourself. It's about building the mental resilience needed to pursue your goals with clarity and determination. Take Socrates, for example. He lived a life of simplicity, often walking barefoot and wearing the same cloak year after year. His lifestyle wasn't about deprivation. It was about prioritizing wisdom and virtue over material comforts. By choosing to delay gratification, Socrates freed himself from the distractions of excess and focused on what truly mattered, living a life of purpose and integrity. His example reminds us that self-discipline isn't just about resisting temptation, it's about creating space for what's meaningful. So, how can you apply this principle in your own life? Start by identifying one habit where you can practice delayed gratification. Maybe it's resisting the urge to scroll through social media when you wake up, or saving a portion of your paycheck instead of spending it on something you don't need. The key is to start small and build from there. Each time you choose to wait, you're not just exercising self-control, you're reinforcing your ability to stay focused on your long-term goals. Here's a question to reflect on. What's one area of your life where you could benefit from delaying gratification? Is it your spending habits, your screen time, or perhaps your diet? The Stoics remind us that true wealth lies in having few wants, not in accumulating possessions. By practicing delayed gratification, you're not just building self-discipline, you're cultivating a mindset that values inner peace and long-term fulfillment over fleeting pleasures. And that's a lesson worth embracing, no matter where you are on your journey. How do you begin your day, reactively or intentionally? For many of us, mornings are a blur of alarms, rushed decisions, and scrolling through notifications before we've even fully woken up. But the Stoics saw mornings differently. To them, the first moments of the day were sacred, a chance to set the tone for everything that followed. This brings us to the seventh rule: develop a morning routine rooted in intention and reflection. Marcus Aurelius captured this beautifully when he wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." For the Stoics, mornings weren't just about waking up, they were about waking up with purpose. A morning routine grounded in Stoic principles isn't about cramming in as many tasks as possible. It's about creating space for reflection, clarity, and alignment with your values. Think of it as a mental warm-up for the day ahead. By starting your day with intention, you're less likely to be swept away by distractions or reactive impulses. Instead, you're setting yourself up to approach challenges with focus and resilience. The Stoics believed that how you begin your day shapes how you live it, so why not start with something meaningful? One powerful way to incorporate Stoic wisdom into your mornings is through journaling. Marcus Aurelius himself kept a journal, which we now know as meditations. Each morning, he reflected on his thoughts, intentions, and the virtues he wanted to embody. This practice wasn't just about self-expression. It was a way to center himself and prepare for the day ahead. You don't need to write pages and pages. Even a few sentences can help you clarify your priorities and set a positive tone for the day. Try asking yourself questions like, what's one thing I can do today to live in alignment with my values? Or what challenges might I face and how can I approach them with courage and wisdom? Another practice to consider is meditation or quiet reflection. The Stoics didn't meditate in the way we often think of today, but they valued moments of stillness and introspection. Taking just 5 minutes to sit quietly, breathe deeply, and focus on the present moment can help you cultivate the mental clarity the Stoics prized. It's not about achieving a perfect state of calm, it's about grounding yourself and preparing to meet the day with intention. Now, let's bring this back to your life. What does your current morning routine look like? Are you starting your day with purpose, or are you letting external demands dictate your first hours? The Stoics remind us that even small changes can have a big impact. Maybe it's waking up 10 minutes earlier to journal, taking a moment to express gratitude, or simply setting an intention for the day. The key is to make your mornings a time of reflection, not reaction. Here's a question to reflect on. What's one small change you can make to your morning routine to start the day with purpose? It doesn't have to be grand or time-consuming, just something that helps you connect with your values and set a positive tone. By developing a morning routine rooted in Stoic principles, you're not just preparing for the day ahead, you're building the foundation for a more disciplined, intentional life. And that's a habit worth waking up for. The Stoics believed that reflection is the key to growth. It's not enough to simply go through the motions of life. True self-discipline requires a deliberate pause to examine your actions, decisions, and progress. This brings us to the eighth rule: reflect daily on your actions. Seneca, one of Stoicism's most influential thinkers, advised, assess your day before you sleep. For the Stoics, this wasn't just a suggestion, it was a vital practice for cultivating self-awareness and accountability. By taking time each evening to reflect, you create a space to learn from your experiences and refine your approach to life. Daily reflection serves as a mirror, allowing you to see where you've succeeded and where you've fallen short. It's not about dwelling on mistakes or beating yourself up, it's about honest self-assessment. The Stoics understood that growth comes from understanding both our strengths and our weaknesses. When you reflect on your day, you're not just reviewing events, you're actively shaping your character. This practice helps you identify patterns, recognize areas for improvement, and celebrate small victories that might otherwise go unnoticed. So, how can you incorporate this into your routine? One effective method is journaling. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to write down your thoughts. You might start with simple prompts like, "What did I do well today?" And "Where can I improve?" These questions aren't meant to overwhelm you. They're designed to guide your reflection and help you focus on what truly matters. Over time, this practice builds a habit of self-awareness, making it easier to stay disciplined and aligned with your values. Consider the example of Marcus Aurelius, whose nightly reflections became the foundation of his personal philosophy. In Meditations, he wrote candidly about his struggles, successes, and lessons learned. His journal wasn't just a record of events, it was a tool for self-improvement. By reflecting on his actions, he held himself accountable and continually refined his approach to life. His example reminds us that reflection isn't a luxury, it's a necessity for anyone seeking to live with purpose and discipline. Now think about your own life. When was the last time you took a moment to reflect on your day? It's easy to get caught up in the busyness of life, but without reflection, we risk repeating the same mistakes and missing opportunities for growth. The Stoics remind us that self-discipline isn't just about what we do in the moment, it's also about how we learn from those moments. By committing to a nightly reflection practice, you're not just reviewing your day, you're actively shaping your future. Here's a challenge for you. Tonight, before you go to sleep, take 5 minutes to reflect. Ask yourself, what did I do well today, and what could I have done differently? These simple questions can spark meaningful insights and help you approach tomorrow with greater clarity and intention. The Stoics believed that reflection is the bridge between action and growth. By crossing that bridge each night, you're not just building self-discipline, you're building a life of purpose and integrity. In a world full of distractions, simplicity is a superpower. Think about it. How often do you find yourself pulled in a dozen different directions, trying to juggle notifications, tasks, and endless to-do lists? The Stoics understood that a cluttered life leads to a cluttered mind, and they championed simplicity as a way to cultivate focus and self-discipline. Seneca put it perfectly when he said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." In other words, true wealth isn't about having more, it's about needing less. By stripping away the unnecessary, we create space for what truly matters. The Stoic approach to simplicity isn't just about physical clutter, though that's a great place to start. It's also about mental and emotional clutter, the distractions, worries, and desires that pull us away from our goals. When we simplify our lives, we're not just tidying up our surroundings, we're clearing the mental noise that keeps us from thinking clearly and acting intentionally. Imagine trying to focus on a single task while surrounded by a mountain of unfinished projects, buzzing phones, and endless demands for your attention. It's exhausting, isn't it? Now imagine the opposite, a clean, organized space where you can think, work, and breathe without constant interruptions. That's the power of simplicity. So, how can you bring this principle into your own life? Start by identifying the distractions that drain your energy and focus. Maybe it's the constant ping of notifications, the clutter on your desk, or the endless stream of emails demanding your attention. Once you've pinpointed these distractions, take steps to eliminate or reduce them. Declutter your workspace, set boundaries with your phone, or create a schedule that prioritizes deep work over multitasking. These small changes can have a big impact, helping you reclaim your focus and stay disciplined in the face of life's chaos. Consider the example of a modern professional who decided to simplify their work environment. They started by clearing their desk of unnecessary items, organizing their digital files, and setting specific times to check emails instead of responding to every notification immediately. Over time, they noticed a significant improvement in their ability to concentrate and complete tasks efficiently. This isn't just about productivity, it's about creating a space where self-discipline can thrive. By removing distractions, you're not just making your life easier, you're setting yourself up for success. Here's a question to reflect on. What distractions can you eliminate to create more mental clarity? It could be as simple as turning off notifications during work hours, decluttering a corner of your home, or saying no to commitments that don't align with your priorities. The Stoics remind us that simplicity isn't about deprivation, it's about creating the conditions for focus, clarity, and intentional living. When you simplify your life, you're not just reducing stress, you're building the foundation for a more disciplined and purposeful existence. And that's a superpower worth cultivating. How much energy do you waste resisting the inevitable? It's a question worth asking, especially when so much of our stress and frustration comes from trying to control what's beyond our reach. This brings us to the 10th Stoic rule: accept what you cannot change. At its core, this principle is about recognizing the limits of your control and redirecting your energy toward what truly matters. As Epictetus wisely said, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. For the Stoics, acceptance wasn't about giving up. It was about freeing yourself from the mental burden of fighting battles you can't win. Think about it. How often do you find yourself stuck in a loop of frustration over things you can't control? Maybe it's a delayed project at work, a sudden change in plans, or even the weather ruining your weekend. When we resist these realities, we waste precious energy that could be better spent on productive action. Acceptance, on the other hand, allows us to let go of what's outside our control and focus on what we can do. It's not about passive resignation, it's about active clarity. By accepting the inevitable, we create space to respond with intention and purpose. Consider a modern-day example. Imagine you're at the airport, ready to board a flight, only to find out it's been cancelled. You could spend hours arguing with the airline staff, venting your frustration, or replaying the situation in your mind. Or you could accept the reality of the situation and focus on finding a solution, booking another flight, adjusting your plans, or even using the extra time to catch up on work. The Stoics would argue that the second approach not only saves your energy, but also empowers you to handle the situation with grace and resilience. Acceptance doesn't mean you're happy about the cancellation. It means you're choosing to respond in a way that aligns with your values and goals. So, how can you practice this principle in your own life? Start by identifying one situation where you're resisting what you can't change. Maybe it's a relationship dynamic you can't control, a global event that's beyond your influence, or even a personal limitation you've been struggling to accept. Once you've identified it, ask yourself, what would it look like to accept this reality and redirect my energy toward what I can control? The Stoics remind us that acceptance isn't about weakness, it's about strength. It's about choosing where to invest your energy so you can move forward with clarity and purpose. Here's a challenge for you. Take a moment to reflect on one area of your life where you've been resisting the inevitable. What would it feel like to let go of that resistance and focus on what's within your power? By practicing acceptance, you're not just building self-discipline, you're reclaiming your mental energy and creating the space to live with intention. And that's a lesson worth embracing, no matter what life throws your way. Gratitude is the antidote to discontent. In a world that constantly pushes us to want more success, more possessions, more recognition, it's easy to lose sight of what we already have. But the Stoics understood that true self-discipline begins with appreciating the present moment and the gifts it holds. This brings us to the 11th rule: practice gratitude daily. Marcus Aurelius, one of Stoicism's most revered figures, wrote, "When you arise in the morning, give thanks for the morning light." For the Stoics, gratitude wasn't just a fleeting feeling. It was a practice, a way of cultivating contentment and perspective in the face of life's challenges. At its core, gratitude aligns perfectly with Stoic philosophy. It's about recognizing the value of what you have rather than fixating on what you lack. When we practice gratitude, we shift our focus from external desires to internal fulfillment. This shift doesn't just make us happier, it strengthens our self-discipline by reducing the pull of impulsive cravings and distractions. Think about it: when you're truly grateful for what you have, you're less likely to chase after things you don't need. Gratitude grounds us, helping us stay focused on what truly matters. So, how can you incorporate this practice into your life? One powerful method is keeping a gratitude journal. Each day, take a few minutes to write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be grand or life-changing. It could be as simple as a warm cup of coffee, a kind word from a friend, or the beauty of a sunset. The act of writing them down helps you pause and reflect, reinforcing the habit of noticing and appreciating the good in your life. Over time, this practice builds a mindset of abundance, making it easier to resist the temptation of discontent. Consider the example of someone who starts their day with gratitude. Instead of waking up and immediately checking their phone or worrying about the day ahead, they take a moment to reflect on what they're thankful for. This small shift sets a positive tone for the day, helping them approach challenges with a sense of perspective and resilience. Gratitude doesn't erase difficulties, but it does remind us of the resources and strengths we have to face them. It's a reminder that even in tough times, there's always something to appreciate. Here's a question to reflect on: what are 3 things you're grateful for today, and why? Take a moment to think about it. Maybe it's your health, your relationships, or even the opportunity to learn and grow. The Stoics believed that gratitude isn't just a feel-good exercise. It's a tool for building mental resilience and self-discipline. By practicing gratitude daily, you're not just cultivating a positive mindset. You're strengthening your ability to stay focused, grounded, and intentional in the face of life's ups and downs. And that's a practice worth making a habit. Do you often feel overwhelmed by others' demands, as if your time and energy are constantly being pulled in every direction? It's a common struggle in today's fast-paced world, where the lines between work, social life, and personal time can blur. This brings us to the 12th Stoic rule: set clear boundaries. The Stoics understood that boundaries aren't just about saying no. They're about protecting your focus, energy, and values. As Seneca wisely noted, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. In other words, without boundaries, we risk squandering our most precious resource, time. Boundaries align closely with Stoic virtues like justice and self-respect. Justice, in this context, means treating yourself fairly by honoring your needs and limits. Self-respect involves recognizing your worth and refusing to let others dictate your priorities. When you set boundaries, you're not being selfish, you're practicing self-discipline by safeguarding what matters most. Think about it: every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your values or goals, you're saying no to something that does. Boundaries help you stay true to your purpose and avoid the trap of overcommitment. So, how can you apply this principle in your own life? Start by identifying areas where you feel stretched thin or resentful. Maybe it's working late into the night, saying yes to every social invitation, or constantly checking emails during family time. Once you've pinpointed these areas, take steps to establish clear boundaries. For example, set specific work hours and stick to them, or create a rule that you won't check your phone during meals. These small changes can have a big impact, helping you reclaim your time and focus. Consider the example of a busy professional who decided to set boundaries around their work-life balance. They started by turning off notifications after 6 p.m. and dedicating their evenings to family and personal projects. At first, it felt uncomfortable. They worried about missing important messages or letting others down. But over time, they noticed a significant improvement in their energy levels and relationships. By setting boundaries, they weren't just protecting their time, they were creating space for what truly mattered. This is the essence of Stoic self-discipline, making intentional choices that align with your values and goals. Here's a question to reflect on. What's one area of your life where you need stronger boundaries? Is it your work schedule, your social commitments, or perhaps your screen time? The Stoics remind us that boundaries aren't about shutting others out, they're about creating the conditions for a focused, intentional life. By setting clear limits, you're not just protecting your time and energy, you're building the foundation for a more disciplined and fulfilling existence. And that's a practice worth prioritizing. How often do you say yes when you really mean no? It's a question worth asking, especially in a world that constantly demands our time, energy, and attention. The ability to say no is more than just a skill, it's a cornerstone of self-discipline. This brings us to the 13th Stoic rule, learn to say no. The Stoics understood that saying no isn't about being rude or selfish. It's about protecting your focus, values, and integrity. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. In other words, saying no is an act of reclaiming that power, ensuring that your time and energy are spent on what truly matters. At its core, saying no aligns perfectly with Stoic principles. It's about clarity, intentionality, and staying true to your purpose. When you say no to distractions or unnecessary commitments, you're not just setting boundaries, you're creating space for what aligns with your goals and values. Think about it. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying no to something that does. The Stoics believed that self-discipline isn't just about what you do, it's also about what you choose not to do. By saying no, you're exercising control over your life, one decision at a time. Consider a modern-day scenario. Imagine you're invited to a social event, but you're working on an important project or simply need time to recharge. Saying yes might feel easier in the moment, but it could leave you feeling drained or distracted. On the other hand, saying no allows you to stay focused on your priorities and honor your needs. This isn't about avoiding social connections, it's about making intentional choices that support your goals. The Stoics would argue that saying no is an act of self-respect, a way to stay aligned with your values even when it's uncomfortable. So, how can you practice this principle in your own life? Start by identifying one area where you need to say no more often. Maybe it's taking on extra work when you're already overwhelmed, attending events out of obligation, or agreeing to requests that don't align with your priorities. Once you've identified it, practice saying no with kindness and clarity. You don't need to justify or over-explain, simply state your decision and stand by it. Over time, this practice will help you build the confidence to protect your time and energy. Here's a question to reflect on. What's one thing you need to say no to this week? It could be a distraction, a commitment, or even a habit that's pulling you away from your goals. The Stoics remind us that every no is a yes to something more important. By learning to say no, you're not just building self-discipline, you're creating the space to live with intention and purpose, and that's a skill worth mastering. Perfectionism is the enemy of progress. It's a truth the Stoics understood well, and one that's just as relevant today. In a world that often demands flawless performance, the pursuit of perfection can become a trap, a source of stress, procrastination, and self-doubt. But here's the Stoic perspective. True self-discipline isn't about achieving perfection. It's about embracing imperfection and using it as a stepping stone for growth. As Epictetus wisely said, it's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters. In other words, the value lies not in the outcome, but in the effort and resilience you bring to the process. The Stoics believed that focusing on outcomes, especially perfect ones, was a recipe for frustration. Why? Because outcomes are often outside our control. You can't guarantee that every project will succeed, every conversation will go smoothly, or every goal will be met exactly as planned. What you can control is your effort, your attitude, and your willingness to learn from setbacks. This shift in focus, from perfection to progress, is what builds resilience and self-discipline. It's about showing up, doing your best, and letting go of the need for everything to be flawless. Consider a modern-day example. Imagine you're working on a creative project and it's not turning out the way you envisioned. A perfectionist might see this as a failure, a reason to give up or start over. But someone embracing the Stoic mindset would see it as an opportunity to learn. Maybe the imperfections reveal a new direction or teach you something about your process. By accepting imperfection, you're not settling for less, you're opening yourself up to growth and discovery. This is the essence of Stoic self-discipline, valuing effort over outcomes and seeing every experience, even the imperfect ones, as a chance to improve. So, how can you apply this principle in your own life? Start by reframing how you view mistakes. Instead of seeing them as failures, see them as feedback. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or how can I use this experience to grow? The Stoics remind us that imperfection isn't something to fear, it's something to embrace. It's through our struggles and missteps that we build the resilience needed to face life's challenges with courage and clarity. Here's a challenge for you. Think about a recent mistake or failure. What did it teach you? How did it help you grow? By reflecting on these questions, you're not just practicing self-discipline, you're cultivating a mindset that sees imperfection as a teacher, not an enemy. And that's a lesson worth carrying with you, no matter where life takes you. When was the last time you learned something new, not just picking up a random fact or scrolling through an article, but truly diving into something that expanded your understanding or challenged your perspective? The Stoics believed that learning wasn't just a phase of life, it was a lifelong commitment. This brings us to the 15th and final rule: commit to lifelong learning. Seneca, one of Stoicism's most profound thinkers, put it simply: as long as you live, keep learning how to live. For the Stoics, learning wasn't just about acquiring knowledge, it was about cultivating wisdom, curiosity, and a deeper understanding of the world and ourselves. At its core, lifelong learning aligns perfectly with Stoic virtues. Wisdom, one of the 4 cardinal virtues, is rooted in the pursuit of knowledge and self-improvement. The Stoics saw learning as a way to sharpen the mind, refine character, and prepare for life's challenges. It's not about memorizing facts or chasing credentials. It's about developing a mindset of growth and adaptability. Think about it. Every time you learn something new, you're not just adding to your skill set. You're building the mental resilience needed to navigate an ever-changing world. Learning keeps you curious, humble, and open to new possibilities, all of which are essential for self-discipline and personal growth. So, how can you embrace this principle in your own life? One practical way is to immerse yourself in Stoic texts. Works like Marcus Aurelius' Meditations, Seneca's Letters from a Stoic, or Epictetus' Discourses offer timeless insights into living with purpose and discipline. These writings aren't just philosophical musings, they're practical guides for navigating life's complexities. Reading them isn't about agreeing with every idea. It's about engaging with the questions they raise and applying their lessons to your own experiences. But learning doesn't have to be limited to books. Consider taking up a new skill or hobby that challenges you. Maybe it's learning a language, mastering an instrument, or exploring a subject you've always been curious about. The key is to choose something that pushes you out of your comfort zone and sparks your curiosity. When you commit to learning, you're not just expanding your knowledge, you're cultivating the kind of mental agility and resilience the Stoics valued so highly. Here's a question to reflect on. What's one area of your life where you can commit to learning more? Is it a skill you've been putting off, a topic you've always wanted to explore, or even a deeper understanding of Stoic philosophy itself? The Stoics remind us that learning isn't a destination, it's a journey. By embracing lifelong learning, you're not just building self-discipline, you're creating a life of curiosity, growth, and endless possibility. And that's a journey worth embarking on, no matter where you are in life. We've journeyed through 15 timeless Stoic rules, each offering a unique lens through which to view and strengthen self-discipline. From understanding the dichotomy of control to embracing obstacles as opportunities, these principles aren't just ideas, they're tools for living with intention and resilience. Together, they form a powerful framework for mastering the art of self-discipline, one step at a time. But here's the key takeaway: self-discipline isn't a destination you reach, it's a practice you cultivate every single day. It's about showing up, making intentional choices, and learning from each experience, whether it's a triumph or a setback. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. This quote encapsulates the essence of Stoic self-discipline. It's not about controlling the world around you, it's about mastering your inner world, your thoughts, actions, and responses. When you focus on what's within your control, you unlock a sense of clarity and purpose that carries you through even the most challenging moments. Each of the 15 rules we've explored is a reminder of this truth, offering practical ways to build the mental resilience and focus needed to thrive in an unpredictable world. As we wrap up, take a moment to reflect. Which of these rules resonates most with you? Is it the practice of delayed gratification, the power of setting boundaries, or perhaps the importance of embracing imperfection? Whatever it is, consider how you can apply it in your own life. Start small, stay consistent, and remember that self-discipline is a journey, not a race. Every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to the person you aspire to be. Now it's your turn. Share in the comments which Stoic rule spoke to you the most and how you plan to put it into action. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more insights on Stoicism and personal growth. Together, let's continue exploring how ancient wisdom can help us navigate the complexities of modern life with clarity, purpose, and unshakable self-discipline. Thank you for watching, and remember, the power to transform your life lies within